On with the British team, Adian actually gets to drive the Land Rover Freelander 2, where he goes green in spirit.
Yep, we went out into the jungle, off-roading.
And green in soul.
Because it runs an environmentally friendly diesel engine.
And I was left out again.
Well, I'll have you know, I'm not exactly the greenest person in the world. I prefer beef burgers to salads, air conditioning to al fresco, and of course, V8s to, well, 4-cylinder diesel engines. But to call a diesel engine nasty and smelly is so 1970s. Having said that, the modern diesel engine that you will find in the Land Rover Freelander 2 has become so efficient that it produces one of the lowest hydrocarbon emissions in today's eco-conscious society.
What we've got here is the Land Rover TD4 Freelander 2 for all you hardcore eco-mentalists out there. It's a lot greener than the previous version of Freelander. Obviously it runs on diesel and it's very fuel economical. If you're gentle with your right foot, just prod the accelerator gently, you're going to see 650 kilometers from a full tank. It's pretty good. And what do you do when the road ends? Well, Land Rover have built in this little party trick for the Freelander 2. This knob here is called the all-terrain response system. You can turn the dial and it swaps between mud, snow or sand. And Land Rover say thanks to this ingenious invention, even the most simple-minded idiotic drivers can now go off-road. And another benefit of diesel is humongous torque. This baby weighs what, 1.8 tons? But with the amount of torque that it's got, it runs to 100 kilometers an hour from a standstill in 11 seconds and will go all the way to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. This is, after all, a Land Rover. Gosh, we're going uphill. It may be the baby of the group, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. You expect it to have leather seats, four-wheel drive, huge sofa for the driver, and enough space in the back for the Philharmonic Orchestra. But there is one thing that Land Rover has always got away with, and that is absolutely horrid, hideous build quality. And if you were the previous owner of a Freelander, the original version, includes suspect reliability as well. Still, it never stopped you lot, hardcore Land Rover fans, from buying the Discovery, the Range Rover V8 Sport, or the Freelander 2. Most peculiar bunch, most peculiar bunch. Or is it really? You see, sequels have always been worse than the original, but in the world of cars, and particularly in terms of the Freelander 2, nothing could be further from the truth. Compared to, say, a Volvo XC60 or the Audi Q5, the Land Rover is the real McCoy. It's the real deal. You're talking about a car that can carry 5 passengers in complete comfort through the jungles, through the estates, to a construction site, and yet, with the simple act of sending it through a car wash, it's ready for some night cruising on the town.
We've got to change your destination, babe. There is no time to think of leaving late. So many things I'd like to say to you before our hearts burn out and our minds turn black and blue. This is
On the road, it doesn't roll as much as you think it would. And the 4-pot diesel fits the car perfectly. Yep, I'm beginning to enjoy this 4-pot diesel engine. It's perky and it hauls this baby Land Rover pretty well. It's got like 400 Newton meters of torque. That's only 20 Newton meters less than the V8 Range Rover Sport. It's pretty close, you know. When you think about it, it's a pretty impressive car. It's got a lot of perk and pull from its engine. Tons of space for the kids and the wife. A load of fun for the dad. I don't know, man. What else could you ask for? It's amazing what a couple of years and a few thousand complaints do to a car. The Freelander 2 is hugely better. The build quality is really very impressive. When you're out on the road inside the cabin, it's whisper quiet. It's almost on par with Mercedes-Benz S-Class. It's that good. It really is a genuine quality, premium feeling car. I've spoken to a couple of previous Land Rover owners, and a lot of them say that this car is much better in terms of reliability compared to the first one. So I've spent a whole day and night with the Land Rover Freelander 2, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised. It's provided me with a sense of freedom and adventure. When we were off-road, right, we just wanted to go into every nook and cranny we could find, all the little creeks, the mud holes, every little alley that we saw going through the trees. It really was something else. The Freelander is a diesel, and therefore it is very friendly to the environment, ecologically safe. Compare that to, say, one of the hybrids that come out these days. They're very close in terms of carbon emissions. So that's something that Land Rover Freelander 2 really has going for it. Well, it's been a good night. At 270,000, this is what I've got to say, it really is a very good alternative. See ya.